One of those asking the questions is New Jersey Republican Chris Smith, who joins me now. Congressman, thank you very much.
Andrea, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Tell me, what do you want to hear from Hillary Clinton?
Well, I watched some of the Senate testimony. I read the Secretary's testimony. We're glad to have her on Capitol Hill. But there's still so many unanswered questions. You know, it's as if we never learned the lessons. Back in 1985, Admiral Bobby Inman issued the Inman Commission report. In 1999, Admiral Crow and I chaired the hearings after our embassies got bombed in Tanzania and in Nairobi, Kenya. 200 people dead, 4,000 wounded and injured. Many of the same recommendations that were made by the most recent Accountability Review Board were made back then. So it's a matter of implementation and leadership, which seems to be lacking, and we really still don't know what the Secretary knew prior to September 11, 2012. We know what she did afterwards, at least that's what she talked about today, but there were huge questions about security requests that our ambassador in Libya had made to the department. Did she know about it? Those answers still are forthcoming, and they have not come.
Well, one of her points today, I think in answer to Senator McCain, or one of the critics, was that it's Congress that has held back money or approval. Let me play a little bit of that.
Sure.
Since March 2011, congressional holds have been placed on programs for many months for aid to Libya. We've had frequent congressional complaints. Why are we doing anything for Libya? It's a wealthy country. It has oil. Disagreement from some sources that we should never have been part of any UN mission in Libya. Currently, the House has holds on bilateral security assistance, on other kinds of support for anti-terrorism assistance.
I mean, as she put it, doesn't the White House, the administration, and Congress have to get their act together as to, if you want more security, approve it, budget it?
Obviously, we could always do more, Andrea, but I was the author of the Secure Embassy Construction and Counterterrorism Act of 1999. Since 1998, we have tripled from 1,000 to 3,100 diplomatic security agents and personnel. It's a matter of leadership and the proper deployment. So there was a little misdirection there in that answer. When it comes to security for our ambassador, Christopher Stevens, who tragically lost his life, and the 3 other individuals and those who were wounded, that's a matter of prioritizing the resources that you have and ensuring that when the ambassador makes a request, when his team makes a request to the department, those funds and that deployment of personnel are forthcoming. Added to that, there's still questions about the military. 7 hours after the attack began was when 2 of the individuals, the Americans, died. I could fly from here to London in 7 hours or so. We couldn't get military assets there to protect Americans who were under siege. So there's questions about what President Obama was doing at the time during those long 7 hours, and there's questions about why we didn't have military personnel there to protect our people who were in dire straits.
Well, Congressman, the military is pre-positioned in Stuttgart, not even close. They say, the military, the Pentagon, and the State Department both say, because it would be worse for us diplomatically to have a big footprint there. Do you reject that? Do you think we should have forward basing, and do you think we should have Marines at these outposts?
Well, again, we still don't know what went on prior to September 11th in terms of the requests that were made and especially how they were acted upon. 3 individuals at least have been put on administrative leave because of mistakes that were made. But how high up did it go? I'm shocked, frankly, that in an era where we want transparency, that Secretary Clinton herself was not interviewed by Thomas Pickering and his Accountability Review Board. You know, you don't just interview mid-level people about what they knew and when they know it. You have to go, I think, even higher and find out what happened throughout the entire chain of command. And again, since there were early indications that this was a hotspot, that the February 17th Brigade, which was one of those charged with protecting us, our military, our diplomatic people, was of very, very questionable allegiance. Who vetted them? those kinds of red flags should have triggered either our ambassador not going to Benghazi that day or other actions being taken, especially when you talk about having more people there to provide protection. You know, he had less people in Benghazi than he did a year before when he went there. That's unconscionable. And so, pardon me, mistakes were made, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many others, but we're all talking about, and I watched the Secretary. She was very smart in talking about what we need to do, but what was or was not done prior to the initiation of these hostilities, this terrorist attack against Americans.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there and watch your hearing this afternoon. Thank you very much, Congressman.